Very, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. The picture that you see on your screen is the picture of Andre Delon and an album that he released called Homecoming. And this is one of those songs on it. It's a song that stuck with us. We really enjoyed it. It's such a treasure. Sort of confidence boosting kind of song. Helps you to wake up in the morning and keep going because somebody thinks that you a treasure. How cool is that? Girl, I'm so in love with you. Ooh. You are the one. Now, I know some people want to know what's feeling like a treasure got to do with agriculture. I think everything. If you're in the right mood and if you're in the right spirit, you can do quite a lot. You can overcome dry, arid desert areas. You can overcome bad crops. You can overcome hindrances. It's really a good thing to realize, and that there's something valuable in us, a treasure. Yeah, very, very welcome. You have on the screen both myself and Sven Isaksson. Sven, good evening to you, my friend. How are you doing today? I have to, sorry, Sven, I had you, I muted you. How can I do that to my friend? Unmute you. Hold on, man, buddy. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. There you go. Can you hear me, Sven?
Yeah, good evening, Theo.
There you are. You are now in studio. That's good. Good to see you, my friend. You're back in Spain, but you're not feeling 100% tonight. But you are still a treasure. Doesn't matter how you feel, right?
Have to have those days to record, so it's no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. We are very, very honored to have your presence here this evening. If you're joining us here on this particular broadcast, which happens every Wednesday evening from 7 p.m., that's Central European time, and it's 8 p.m. in South Africa. This particular broadcast is hosted right here in Stockholm, in Sweden, some 10,500 kilometers from where we do most of our work. When I say we, I mean Learning Academy Worldwide. We have a vocational training in agriculture project in South Africa in through three centers, one in Concordia in the Northern Cape, another one in Harlem in the Southern Cape, and a third one in the same region in a place called George. And the purpose of this particular broadcast is to cast a light, bring attention to this vocational training in agriculture project. And Sven, we've always felt that training and developing people, supporting and strengthening them to be their best, passing on knowledge that they can use is crucial, right?
Yeah, it's good. A forum and where it's high in the ceiling, and bringing people and cultures together and learnings in a positive environment and bringing in cultures in a positive mindset.
Mm.
It's very, and crisscrossing and from different cultures and nationalities, and see how similar we are. And we
Yes.
have a easy also to be sharp and highlight where we see some gaps to
Yeah.
work on.
Yeah. In fact, that's exactly how this project started. We had such a diverse set of people involved from different parts of the world, sort of not only sponsoring and giving and supporting, but actually on site when we launched it in 2019 in its official form. Before that, we did a lot of feasibility explorations and studies to find out what is the nature of vocational training in agriculture. But when we started officially in 2019, it was such a wonderful mix of people that were willing to travel from different parts of the world to launch it in October 2019. And since then, we have had this experience of connecting with people across cultures, across languages, across many kilometers and distances, continents, perspectives, approaches. And as you say, we've discovered that there's a lot of things in life that we share in common, some struggles that we think other people don't have because we call them so called first world developing countries. But they have the same burdens and the same struggles and the same pain and ambitions and dreams as everybody else have. And in that way, we have been able to really be an organization that even bring the young people that we are strengthening. So the students that are in our programs, they connect with other people in other parts of the world. In fact, today, if we talk a little bit about news, is I think the second last week before we wrap up a whole series of presentations and studies where students in these three centers that I mentioned earlier connect with a teaching team from Spain,
Yeah.
and they do this online. And so our students meet in George, and they meet in Concordia, and they meet in um, Harlem to actually connect with us. So that's been fascinating to have these experiences for even the young people to start seeing and connecting with folks in different parts of the world. Talking about folks in different parts of the world,
Yes, I think.
and we're very happy, of course, and pleased. And I think you can see him on the screen. Let me just see if you can. Yes, you can see him. There he is, Professor Gugwana. He can't hear us yet.
I can. I Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah, Luvo, can you hear us, buddy? Anyway, we'll wait for that audio feed to sort of correct itself as we try and sort of press the right buttons here. But what a fascinating journey, Sven. You and myself also met that way. It's just that our paths crossed in a public space where there are different groups of people, different foods and different tastes and different preferences were colliding with each other. And another sort of wonderful little picture of just
Yeah,
the wonder that can come through these connections and collaborations.
yeah, and that's a cool thing too. Like kind of guerrilla style food, the food trucks.
Yeah,
How it everything is so controlled, but when you bring in new exciting things, it becomes from an idea to a fad to a real thing. And as we say too, from making something to find a customer.
yeah,
How we food trucks it become like an exciting scene. And if you can grow and process your foods right to the customer. It's a full circle right there, and in many of other industries or in instances is regulations or you're just doing one part of a big change,
yeah.
so that
I'm
a
glad
cool.
I'm really
Cool.
glad you touch on this issue because I think Luvo is our guest here and he's been our guest for the second week. And Luvo makes things happen, and we're going to talk to him a little bit later about the just incredible his own story and what he's been able to achieve. But it's been my sense, Sven, when you talk about this issue of, I suppose, bridging this gap between what we are strengthened to make or produce or grow and presenting that and allowing people to acquire that from us, buying that from us, use that from us. Um, I think the local market has, in my view, not been tapped and have been accessed as much as it could. We can do a lot more. It's right on our doorstep in
Yeah.
simple ways. Luvo's story, I think, is partly a huge example, a great case study of just exactly how powerful that is. And so we salute him, of course, for that. Um, at, it's your sense, Sven, that we should encourage and strengthen our young people, our small businesses, especially small businesses within agriculture, to really, talk to us so we can strengthen you and inspire to you to actually get a lot of these small things done that you may sometimes think is out of your reach. You know, talk to somebody, talk to us, reach out to us at the end of this program. There's a contact email, and we're very happy to hear from you. That discussion, Sven, the dialogue between young startups, businesses, young people, or small scale businesses, and folks who have no ulterior motives but to strengthen, that's important, right?
Yeah, and you need that fire in your belly, or why? It's like you want to see the value of what you're providing. If you can meet your customer and see how your product are made, then you have the reason or the drive to
Mm.
go through all the tough times and development. And we have talked about stages and so forth. But it's very important, like, to understand the joy. If it's like, if you're serving coffee, juice, or making fruits, or you're making shoes or furniture, it's like, connect to the customer and see what your product adds.
Mm.
And you're in a factory making electronic wiring, you want to know how that product you make used. You play an important role, and young people need to understand, because you can see so far away. It looks like so macro. No,
Yeah,
you don't have to go micro, and do the little things. And then what you are in the field of education, you can affect and inspire and touch people one by one. You just one, but you touch people directly. You don't need to excel on numbers, and you can do that later. But not, you have to step by step and that fire. But see, it's spring, and where you're at, and
yeah.
that's your motivation.
Well, let's get that young man in to tell us a story. Luvo, can you hear us, buddy? We now have two Luvos. There you are. Luvo, can you hear us okay? We're having a little bit of a difficulty there, all the way from KwaZulu Natal. This is a good, as I say, there you are.
Check is
Hey, buddy.
Video is
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Oh,
My network is quite good.
You
ah,
Yes, I can hear
you
you
can
now
hear
too.
us. Oh, fantastic, wonderful. That's great. Good to see you. Good evening, sir. How are you holding up today? I know you've been traveling from the Eastern Cape back home to KwaZulu Natal. How did that go?
Yeah, I guess today my network is extremely bad. Yes, my
Oh,
network reception this side is extremely bad.
yes.
Apologies for that.
No, you don't have to apologize for that, man. There's part of this that's outside of our control, and it's not always easy. That is one of the most frustrating things. And the problem is,
Yes. Actually, I had a long drive. It's a 9 hour drive.
yes,
Yeah.
and so there's heavy delay here. So I asked that question 20 years ago. but, um, um, but I'm not so sure if it's restream. What we'll do is, Luvo, I'm going to try and send you a different link, and we can try and get you in, because it would be really good to get you. I'll send you. I'm just going to close that here.
and
What
in the
Yeah, I'm going to just send him a different link here, because that's really important to get a conversation with him going. For those of you who are tuning in, we appreciate your patience. In the meantime, I'm going to put some wonderful music up of Andre de Lang, and trust that you will enjoy that. And as you enjoy that, we trust that you would stick with us as we try and get a better and more higher quality link in for our young man there, all the way from KwaZulu Natal in South Africa. There's a song by Andre de Lang called One in a Million.
maybe a video. And
Deep in the shadows where you're lying, crying, suffer with no food to eat. Nowhere to go, no one to talk to when you're lonely. Why should you believe
Oh, that's Andre De Long singing One in a Million. Sven, we have made contact now with the young man and on another platform, and you're just trying to get him in. If you've just joined us, thank you very, very much for spending your time with us. And most of all, thank you so much for being so wonderfully, wonderfully patient with us tonight. We appreciate that. Patience goes a long way. I'm just trying to line up the young man as he tried a different platform. It's good that we have alternatives in life. And we'll see here if we can bring him in. While I do that, you can see on the screen there is information about Learning Academy Worldwide. And there's also a quick response code that you can use in order for you to find a way to support what we do. One of the things that we are really interested to source funding for is something that will very directly benefit the kind of aspirations that young Luvo has for what he wants to do. And it is the funding of an agro-processing unit. If you have it in your heart to support and help them, simply click on that quick response code there, and you'll be able to access information that will guide you and find so that you can find a way to support there. So let's see if we can get the young man in. I can actually get him on screen right now. Luvo, you want to say something? Let me see. Just hold on. Can you try again? Can't get you in on the feed yet, so let's see here what it's cooking. Let's see. I can only see your lips moving, but I can't hear a single word you're saying. So, our microphone. Well, can you just say, can you hear us? Can you put a thumbs up if you can hear? You can hear us. We can't hear you. All right. Sven, you can still hear me, right? Oh, I can't hear Sven either. Hold your horses. Something is not right in the state of Denmark. Hold on.
It's good. And
okay, so you can, you can hear me. What about now? Can you say something, Luvo? I can't hear him. Sven, can you hear him at all?
No. Do you think? I don't
can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Okay, great. That's a lot better. All right.
Yes.
Listen, we're going to go.
Awesome.
Let's just very, very quickly here. What we like to do is play a video that covers the kind of impact that Luvo's made, and it started with a fantastic story, and we really hope that you can listen in here and understand and appreciate just the extent of his story.
Igama lam Luvo. I was born and raised from a small town Tabankulu, basically in Kwele Makaya. Growing up in Makaya, like any child, I was very ambitious. But my ambition was limited to what I saw on TV. I went to grade 12 and I had to pursue my studies. While I was there, I was actively involved in my project, Makaya, and that's where I met other entrepreneurs who are coming from similar backgrounds, and was very inspired by imisebenzi yabo, and it inspired me to start something for myself that can power communities as well. So today I'm a founder of a company ezwa Green Arch, and the company yethu isebenzisana kakhulu nabantu basemakaya to do farming technology phakathi. So i-company yethu yenza ama-aquaponic system, so la sikhulisa khona fish nama-plants. Sinama-projects e-KZN that have empowered people, bathola amathuba omsebenzi, bakwazi ukudayisa ofish nama-plants.
Oh man, that's powerful. I would say, Sven. What's your first reactions? Is the story of Luvo talks so much of a boy, small town kid, ambitious, studies, actively involved, inspired. Now a business owner in one of the big provinces in South Africa, pursuing impact, giving work to other people.
Yeah,
What a fantastic journey of going from and someone with ambition to someone giving somebody else ambition. That's really, really powerful. Um, if I think about your journey, Luvo, it's very, very inspiring. Do you know how inspiring you are? You're
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Did you know what it
I mean,
does to other people? I mean, you're giving work to a lot of folks, but is it your sense that your story is meaningful and that it really, really impacts people?
yeah, I think for me, like, I get inspired every day to see the young people that we work with, the
Mm,
community is really putting their skin on the game as well.
mm,
I mean, I also get inspired through them. So it's really something that I'm really passionate about, to work with communities and to empower communities as well. And I think I also always say that, especially for myself, coming from rural areas, it really means a lot if I'm able to take my experience, my expertise from what I've learned, and then take it back to the same communities that I really come from.
mm. What you were saying? What is the name of that small town again?
Oh, yeah. So I was born in Eastern Cape. So the small town is called Tawankulu. That's where I was born in Eastern Cape.
Okay.
And then moved to KZN. So that's where my enterprise is based, in KZN, where we do our programs. And fortunately now, because of the project that I have in Eastern Cape as well, it has taken me
Mm,
back to Eastern Cape again. So now I have projects in Eastern Cape and in KZN, which is a beautiful story, because in Eastern Cape is
mm.
where I was born, in KZN is where I'm based. So it's quite a beautiful story that now I'm finding myself in both the Eastern Cape and the KZN province.
Right, covering that whole eastern coast there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Um, one of the then I've made a couple of notes as one listens to you. There was one line talking about actively being involved. Uh, sometimes we wait for things to happen. Um, it didn't seem like you were waiting for things to happen. You were actively involved, got your hands sort of literally dirty. Is that for you an important thing? Talk about your level of activity or level of busyness. Is this a clue for us as to one reason why you have done so well?
Yeah, I think for me, actually, that reference, it means a lot for me, because I really believe that as young people, we need to get ourselves into areas and positions where opportunity would find us ready.
Mm,
And I really try to be actively involved in programs and initiatives.
mm,
So when such opportunities where I meet mentors like you, Mr. Theo,
mm,
I'll be ready to leverage on such connections and such networks.
mm,
So I really am one person who believe that there's always something that you can um, acquire through networks. There's something that you can always acquire if you're within the right position, but it takes a level of activity for one to be in such a position where opportunities really come by.
mm,
So I really tried to access knowledge, access information, seek for mentors, really try to find different finding mechanisms. And once all those things came together, it really pushed us in positioned us in an
Mm.
environment where we're able to set up an enterprise that is able to empower people, that is able to employ people, that is able to be sustainable as well, because we
Mm.
really put ourselves out there and we raised our hand and say, we here we are, we're doing this work. And whoever is willing to collaborate and work with us, we really appreciate that. So it's about raising our hand and then really actively involved in initiatives that would empower us as well and also empower other people.
Mm. Yeah, I like that, and it's very very inspiring. It's deeply encouraging that you are pursuing the kind of aspirations. You getting your hands dirty, as we said earlier. You actively doing things, and then networking is almost, of course, it's going to be the consequence of somebody says putting yourself out there. Part of that sounds good, but I think it's not always, it sounds to me that it's not like you were trying to put yourself out there. It sounds to me that you were resolved, you had a goal, you wanted to get busy, and that does attract attention. It gets attention. If you sleep on a couch every single day, well, okay, that gets attention too, but it's all negative attention. But I mean, couches are fantastic. I love couches. The sofas are, they're great. They're wonderful. But it's you get attention, but some people want you to get off the couch, and it's all negative. But it seems to me that you charted a way, you charted a plan, and you got busy. And so on that one, as planning and strategizing also been an important part for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's always been. And I'm one person who really believe that you need to be actively involved as the owner. I mean, you need to get your hands dirty. You need to lead the way. So that's really been an approach that I took in establishing the enterprise. And
Mm.
also a lot of strategic planning. It's really important. I mean, if you have a guideline or a framework, that really creates a pathway of where we want enterprise to be, to create a pathway on which steps to take. Because once there's a clear framework, it really provides an easy or digestible pathway that anyone can understand. I mean, that framework has also helped us to explain our model clearly because we have a framework that we can present, that we can understand. That framework also helps the fund us in funding opportunities. It also helps us to have a clear direction on where do we want our enterprise to go. So everything goes to strategic planning. It goes to a lot of uh, planning behind it and a lot of frameworking to say where do we want the enterprise and what is the pathway. So it also helps us to have a clearly defined direction for enterprise, and also it makes it easy for us to communicate our goals and aspirations to other people
Mm.
about our company.
Well, one last point on that, and then I would like Sven to maybe come in and comment on his own observations. So your activity, your busyness, your get off the couch kind of approach, and getting your hands dirty, and a high level of energy and commitment to getting things done, plus a strategic planning, and not just sort of going as as if there's no purpose or no idea, but that it's carefully thought through, and that it's everything you do is part of a strategy. Um, and you mentioned something there that leads me to this third point. I know you've said you talk about other people as models, and we appreciate your comment on what you see we doing. We are very impressed with you because you are immediately, and you use the word yourself. You strategize and you plan, and in so doing, you become a model to others. Is that something that you also very very specifically look at, that what you do is being watched, what you do is being observed, what you are doing is being imitated, and in the process you become an example to others? Is that something that you are very very specifically looking at and thinking through?
Absolutely. The truth is really it's something that we've never strategically tried to achieve.
Mm.
But what I've observed is I think we've had a lot of attention into our programs, but
Mm.
really the intention in our side is not really to get ourselves out there, but it had really happened and it has benefited us a lot. I think when you're doing something good, I think whoever is watching is willing to see it. Hasn't really been something that when we sat down and planned it out that this is our model of getting traction. But
Mm.
what had happened was that based on the work and the evidence of work that we've done has really touched many people so that we got the profiling that we had. I mean, in South Africa, had got a good profiling around our projects, around our initiatives, but
Mm.
really it's the PR initiatives that really find us. We haven't really put a lot of effort in positioning ourselves or getting ourselves out there to
Mm.
really showcase our work. But fortunately, the partners or stakeholders that have seen our work, who have publicized our work, that has really helped us because it has kind of validated what we're doing.
Mm.
Also, it kind of helped us. It really puts a step forward because by the time we explain what we do already, there's quite a lot that people can consume online that has been said about us already. But what I could say is it's really nothing that we have planned to say this is our pathway of really getting our work
Mm.
to be shared in various platforms, but the entities that have done so have really helped us to make us visible because if we are visible, I think a lot of people will be able to reach us as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Sven, what an inspiring young man. As we listen to him, it's very, very clear that he is he's built something. He's put a set of tracks down. He's put a locomotive on it, and he's put some wagons on it. On top of that, that's quite inspiring, right?
Yeah, very well presented all the way through. I like he connected to the last episode we had. It he connects to people that has had success or done things in the past too. So he follows that model very strictly. And works with all the right models. So and
Mm.
very well thought out. And in the end, when you can see the video, he also know the importance of telling his story.
Mm.
For getting it out there, and then he gets traction and interest and everything else. But connecting to the network of proven business models and contacts is
Mm.
very, very, this template is very unique. And then maybe it's interesting now to ask him and Theo, you as involved in training and education, how the response from the authorities or different municipalities are. Can they use his example and model to regain interest throughout
Yeah.
the different areas and projects? Because here it is a very practical, it's a real example, instead of a theoretical base.
Yeah.
So that would be
Absolutely.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
But now we were talking how it's important just to have internet and infrastructure.
Mm.
Otherwise he's already capped off if we can't talk to people. But
I
by
know.
technology we all can see his presentations and the videos. But that would be interesting to see how our um, politicians or organization picking up his examples, because it's gold. It's gold. His example, that should
Wow.
be the star through everything, I think.
Mm. Well, that's a lovely affirmation there, Luvo. What is the meaning of your name, Luvo?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So, my name Luvo. So Luvo means perception. So in
Say that
my
again.
perception, it says
Perception.
perception,
Wow.
perception. Yes.
Yeah.
So in my native language, so when someone says uvo lwakho, it means your perception. So that's what my name means. So your perception. So it's
Wow.
how you see things, it's how you understand things is according to your perception. Yes.
Well, Sven is seeing you as gold. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's his perspective, and I share that perspective. And I think the concern,
Yes.
not concern, but I think a valid question is, are people around us seeing that people with influence, people with the capacity to strengthen what we are doing? Because that's what you really need. We need people to come alongside us and strengthen us in order for us to strengthen others. It's just a
Yeah,
very, very natural
like a
question, right?
fast to help other people get
100%
moving and
agree. I
faster, take
100%
away the
agree.
obstacles and whatever, because those are the things that can slow down the real good projects and whatever. You get so caught up in regulations or red tapes, and everything, and that
Mm.
could be that general for everything, paperwork or whatever. So when there's something that is defined and functional, there should be the team around that paves the way for him to do what he's already doing.
Yeah.
So authority or organization or teachers like it's our mission to highlight this and help pave the way for him to do what he's doing because he's an expert in that field.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely. Yeah.
what are and what do you need for resources from the community, because in the end he provides value and he's top notch in everything. So his burdens, how can people around make it easier for him, that inspires other also.
Mm. It's quite fascinating for me on this point, and maybe a little bit deep, well, not a little bit, but deeply disturbing that somebody can build a track, put a locomotive on it, put
Yeah,
wagons on it, and the thing is going. And the only thing that the person is asking is to acknowledge that I'm doing this and support what I'm doing.
yeah,
Instead, we put stumbling blocks in the ways of these people. That for
yeah,
me,
yeah.
um,
And especially critical, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Because overall lifting above every in a competitive marketing place,
mm,
it's in every instance, but in regions that really needs it, like it's the same rules in a football game or whatever,
mm,
and you need can bring out of your skills and resources or whatever, but in areas like we are talking about is detrimental, in
yeah,
these areas.
yeah,
And when it's shift things, it's even more important to fast track, because the benefits are huge. It can go fast by the power,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's very, very well articulated there, Sven. And I think that we've been very honored with having you in this orbit here with us, Luvo. We really thank you for that. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing your story and telling your story. And we'll keep telling your story. And we also appreciate the fact that folks have been listening in this evening. And we've had a couple of comments. One of the gentlemen that's made a comment is actually going to be on this broadcast next Wednesday, Daniel Motswane. Um, I think, Luvo, you know him. I think we all met in Durban as well, but we'll see. But anyway, Daniel's going to be on next week, and it will be very, very interesting to hear just incredible story again of folks who are building tracks and putting wagons, locomotives and wagons on them and going. Not waiting, doing things, doing things, doing
Highlight,
things.
like he's already losing, like he has his issues, he needs those containers or whatever, because you can't have programs that produce something and then it goes to waste.
Oh yeah,
That has to there you have to be wow, what are we doing here, because that can ruin the whole process. So
yeah,
it has to go and to be correct. So always highlighting, I'm doing this but I need us right now, it's leaking, like I I'm missing out, and suddenly you can't do that anymore, because it could be some event that those gaps or those leaks
mm,
kills everything. And that's the crucial thing. You're always looking for efficient things. So it's
absolutely.
the whole process,
Th-
every step.
Thanks for
All defined.
bringing thanks for bringing that point up
Yeah,
because the cooling systems is
yeah,
connected to
more, yeah, more about the pain. Like for him, okay, he has his story that can we can tell the story for him. He needs to tell us all about the pains to
yeah.
help him. He doesn't really. Other people should help him promote his model. He needs to attack the pains. He's the business driver.
Mm,
So that's also important. He should be in it every day and call out, hey, I got this. I'm doing all these good things, but I got this problem. I got to solve this. Number one.
mm,
So otherwise, it can be easy to celebrate. Wow, this is all good and well, but in his daily life, it's not all good and well. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it could be a story in 2 years, and it was like, what happened? No, we didn't
Mm,
address this. I That wasn't the highlight. I think that's very easy. Yeah, I mean important when we're talking to the business owners. Like, no, his pains together to reach his
mm.
objectives. That you have core to attack those, and
And
then story he other people can tell, and get that done. So he shouldn't waste his energy on that.
Right.
He should fully on as he is. Of course, he's amazing. So, but he has the video and the story. He has made all the right steps
Yeah.
for people. Then how can we help? And he should just be, well, I am producing here, but I'm lacking this, so I need this to make an effort. And then it's just on his way all the time. Otherwise, it's easy to stop it because it looks good, but it's an ongoing struggle all day, or opportunity, so to say, to maximize resources, impact, and whatever. Because it's everything in agriculture too is hard work. You're playing with earth, all the valuables. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely. We were talking about this at the end of the show last week, Luvo. After we finished broadcasting, we still had a long conversation here in the studio, and we were talking about just how important it is in almost literally preserve the quality of what you do, and that it
yeah,
is, it is such a waste to invest so much
yeah,
in growing, and then there's very limited capacity for cooling systems that can strengthen the quality of the produce until it gets into the for usage in the consumer. This is a pain for you, right?
Absolutely, Mr. Theo.
Mm.
I think when you look at the agricultural value chain, and then you look at the main cause of food spoilage and food waste, I think a lot of that is attributed to the cooling system that is required. Because if you can't really store the food and then increase the longevity of it, unfortunately, it will go to waste. And in a country where food security is a challenge, I don't think we can afford to have food waste. But unfortunately, because we don't have these systems in place that can support communities that are growing produce
Yeah.
through primary agriculture, unfortunately, we still experience that.
Mm.
But the cooling system, it is answer to address that issue because yes, people are producing the produce,
Mm.
but is it getting to the right market it's supposed to get to? Unfortunately, the answer is no.
Mm.
The reason behind that is because we don't really have opportunities to play in the entire agricultural value chain, especially that last aspect of it, which is the control and the cooling system and storage,
Mm.
which really allows people to store the food, and it will prevent the spoilage, it will prevent food waste. And then also it means that now if we can prevent the spoilage and food waste, it means more people have access to food. And
Mm.
then also the entrepreneurs, the growers of food, they have an opportunity to have a longer shelf life for their products. So which means that they'll earn more money because you can store your goods, they have a longer shelf life, means you can get more customers, and that way you're able to make a living
Mm.
from your production. So it really this would be an opportunity for me and other young farmers that we work with to have an opportunity to diversify their products because
Mm.
the cooling systems, it's a pack house, a cooling system,
Mm.
uh, it's a processing unit. So it means you are able to add value into your product. It means there's an opportunity to tap into new markets.
Mm.
There's an opportunity to get new products
Mm.
because you're adding value. I mean, if you take a pure cabbage and then you chop it, already that's a product, a secondary product that we can sell to a niche market that looks at chopped goods. So
Mm.
really, there's a lot
Yeah.
of opportunities in that, not only addressing the spoilage and food waste, but also speaks to opening up new markets, new opportunities
Yeah.
for their products as well. And there's more impact into it because that's what most communities really need. That's what most growers need
Mm.
because that's really what is required on the market. I mean, also when you look at the retail outlets that many aspiring farmers or young people want to supply, there's a lot of compliance checklists that they have to abide to. But that cooling system is one of the key things because they want to see how's the food stored, is the right temperatures, right storage,
Yeah.
health and safety, hygiene practices. So once you have that, I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. And well, that just confirms, the issue of preserving, preservation through cooling, processing through modifying and changing a product and making a new product, and then shelf life, longevity through refrigeration. So those seem to be it. And it just echoes what Sven and myself said last time. We say sometimes, we talk about this solution of a processing agri processing unit, which is something that we can build right away. We have access to the specs and the way to do that. That's not a problem. Then, of course, funding. I don't really think funding is a huge issue. We just need to get in front of the right people. I think the need, sometimes we think people need, that, but it's, Sven and myself were saying last week, Sven, we were saying that the need sounds to be bigger than that. For if I just listen to you, Lo, it's not just that one unit. It's quite an involved process. So there's it sounds bigger than just that agro processing unit. Agreed?
100%, 100%. I mean, if I could reference on our conversation, I mean, even on WhatsApp, on my WhatsApp, I have young people, young farmers that we mentor who said, I'm growing this, I need to tap into the market for this, I'm not compliant for that. So, for like, if we were to have this in establishment, it means more, all the entrepreneurs that are within our mentorship and also our support chain, to be able to get their products through the agri-processing unit, and also to help them to comply because they will be audited through one agri-processing unit. In that way, all the products have been standardized, all the products have been assessed, they go through the same protocol within um, that agri-processing unit. So the impact of it, it's beyond what we're just talking about because it will support a lot of entrepreneurs on the ground. It will give an opportunity for entrepreneurs to bring new products into the market, and also
Absolutely.
it will give an opportunity for young entrepreneurs to work with the clients that they've foreseen to work with in the future because now they've had that compliance they've been seeking for quite some time. I
Right.
mean, for us ourselves as well, I think I did mention in our last session that, I mean, right now with our fish from our aquaponic systems,
Yes.
the team has to harvest it in the morning and
Mm.
then they shift it immediately in ice. So meaning we don't have the capacity to store it and freeze it,
Mm.
of which that could have been really convenient. So
Right.
now it becomes a labor-intensive program. On top of that, it means the fish needs to be immediately shipped. But now, if we speak about the infrastructure in place, it means that the team will be able to harvest the fish, cut it, and then freeze it, and then it can immediately go to markets. And once it's frozen, it means even logistically, the distance it can cover is quite more than when it's on ice, which we're currently doing right now. So the impact is quite beyond because now there will be an opportunity for logistics guys to play in our value chain because now we're frozen fish. But right now, we don't play along that because we need to cover a short distance. But now, once the fish is frozen, you can cover a long distance. There's an opportunity for a middleman there that is going to be moving the goods from the farm to other places. So there's quite a lot of dynamics in terms of impact on
Quite a
how this can impact enterprise and also how this can impact community through job creation
mm,
and support other SMEs through the agri-processing unit.
absolutely. That's a very, very clearly articulated process there, and a very clear description of where the pain really is.
Yeah, and I think that should be the next PowerPoint or video too, in combination to show
Yeah.
that. So he needs
Yes.
to write the same as the second presentation, and then
That's a good
some
point.
really ask.
Yeah.
This is the
Let's start asking. Let's put numbers together. Let's put a video
yeah
together. Let's take a next step here, Luvo, and get the kind of support for what is necessary to take care of the entire value chain, and not have to have the pressure that you do have, or the pain that you have in relation to preservation of produce, especially as you mentioned, with food security under such enormous pressure. Um, this is it makes sense.
yeah big global issues.
Yeah,
Everybody in tech, it might touch into a lot of different companies. Have high interest for everybody. It's like a global. So there might be amazing companies and technologies and everything that can take part and develop models for
yeah,
this. So
absolutely.
waste and preservation and every it's highest on the list. We have to take care of that. So
Yeah,
that's step is the big one to make clear and present.
absolutely. Well, for those of you who joined in this evening, thank you once again, and thanks for your patience at the early part of the program when we're trying to solve some real technological issues. That's pain as well, part of life. We have our pain. Luvo's got his pain, and Sven's got his pain. Thoughts for Sven is struggling there with some infliction on his body, but we'll all get through it. There's a lovely Swedish expression, "Det går över." It doesn't.
Mm.
So, thank you, gentlemen, for spending your time with us this evening. Luvo, again, thank you so very, very much for the incredible work you're doing and for this grand example of what it takes to really, really make a difference, not only in your own life, but in the lives of those that you serve and help. So we appreciate that. We'll be see you all back next week, same time on Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Central European time. And that would be 8 p.m. South African time. Thank you so very, very much. Andre says, we are treasures, he says, and we'll play out with that.
Yeah.
You take good care, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Good night, Sven.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank you,
Luvo.
Thank you very much,
Take-
Mr. Thea.
You're very
Also, thank
welcome.
you to
We'll
the
stay in
press.
touch on the other side. We'll try and connect on WhatsApp and everything else. We're looking forward to see King David here next week. Um, and as he, you just see what he has to say. That's the young professor. Anyway, we'll see him next week. But thank you again for your time, Luvo, and we wish you a fantastic and wonderful week. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Thea. Thank you very much.
Bye bye, everybody. Good night.